Hi, my name is Elaine and I live in California in Woodland Hills, and I live on a hillside with a property that goes quite a long way up, about 60 feet up, and over a span of about 180 feet from the road. So it's quite steep in places. So I've been into gardening quite a while, and the thing that really annoys me is when you spend so much time working so hard and then various problems arise and all the hard work that you've done turns to nothing and the plants die. I've been using various different products to try and stabilize the hillside and make it easy to walk on, because it's quite treacherous for myself and anyone who's helping me in the garden. I mean, you can see my rather half-hearted attempt at trying to retain the hillside in certain areas where I'd planted these very expensive shrubs. I put metal stakes in and some 2x4s, and it was really not up for the job, because everything that you do on a hillside, the water's going to find its easiest route down the hillside through gravity. So having a dirt locker that really traps the moisture in this circle is a much better way of keeping the soil stable around plants that you've planted. So with these various places on the hillside, I was looking for a way to be able to walk up it more safely. And so I was searching on hillside landscaping, and that's when I came across Dirt Locker, and I watched the videos and I thought, wow, this looks ingenious. And I'd already used various products using some kind of plastic, and so I knew that it was a really good way of retaining the earth. So it just seemed quite logical to me that this would work, and having worked with the product, I'm really happy because it's doing everything that I want it to do. So I thoroughly recommend it. So the first issue you have when you're trying to order the dirt lockers is you have to figure out how many you're going to need. So the first thing is to measure the width and the length, and also take a rough estimation of the angle so that you know which type of product you're going to use, whether it's the senior or the original. And the hillside has to be fairly even. It doesn't have to be completely manicured, but you want to try and get rid of any holes or high spots, which is pretty easy to do. It didn't take us terribly long. Just use some shovels and picks and just basically spread the earth around so that it was much more even. Then you basically put all of the lockers on a flat area, ideally. Locking them together is a little bit tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it, you get into on a roll. And if you've got 2 or 3 people, it's really helpful, because then you're not trying to maneuver it yourself, and one person could be standing holding it while you're poking the thing in, and it's just like, it's a lot easier the more people you have. You could probably do it on your own, but I just would it's much more fun if you've got your friends to help. So the first rows we put up, there was 12 of them all linked together, which we got up the hill. It was a little bit tricky, just mainly because the hillside is so steep, and we didn't have that much hillside that had steps on it. So anybody that wasn't walking on this little narrow steps was going to have a lot of difficulty. It's extremely flexible, so we were having to go up and around like a snake, and it worked really well. And once we got it to the top, we could position it onto the J-hooks, and then you could just let the rest of them fall down the hillside using gravity to assist you. So as we unraveled it, some parts of it did come unhooked, but it's really simple just to put it back in again where the parts had come undone. And once you've got them in vaguely the right position, then you can easily maneuver them because they're very malleable. One of the advantages of the dirt locker as well is if you've already got a hillside that you've worked really hard on, and you have so many plants that you've really nurtured and they're doing relatively well, the advantage is you can literally take a couple of the dirt lockers, create a circle, and then ring these plants that are doing well, and it just gives them some extra support and allows the drainage not to erode the soil away, so that the water stays around that plant. I would recommend the dirt locker, especially if you have a hillside property. It's so perfect for creating stepped areas.